You guys can see the screen, right? Hello. All right, great. So, majorly, we'll have to start from the theory and so as to understand everything that we are trying to do. Okay, so in order to understand that, I would like to start from, what's it called? I would like to start from demand and supply, then we can take that into theory, even though we've done demand and supply, but I didn't explain yesterday. Okay, so what is really happening in the market, unlike the popular thing that we all know? Okay, so there is an example I used to explain demand and supply to people. Okay, let's say for example, you are a seller, just a single seller, and you sell maybe laptops. Okay, and you also have someone, probably a store is right next to you, and you guys sell the same thing, laptop, maybe same even, maybe same Apple products and the likes like that. Okay. So the truth is, as much as probably you might get jealous that, oh, maybe many people are on daily basis, maybe 10 people, by every 10 people, maybe 10 people patronize the person, and maybe 3 people patronize you. Okay. So maybe 10 people patronize the person and 3 people patronize you. Okay. So majorly it is normal human thinking to assume that, oh, this person has made bigger sales than me and the likes like that. But that is not actually true. Sales is not made or is not directly dependent on the number of buyers, okay, or the number of sellers. No, that is not what sale is. Sale is dependent on the what? On the pressure. That is why it is very possible for you to see someone that has maybe 10,000 followers on IG and someone that has 3,000 followers on IG, and they are doing the same thing. The person with 3,000 followers may be making more sales due to quality, due to some other factor, than the person that has 10,000 followers and which they make the same sale. So what are we trying to say here is that what is the basic definition of demand and supply based on the forex perspective of things? So the basic definition is that a demand is a buying pressure area. So note the word buying pressure. It is not what is it called? It is majorly about the pressure. Okay, so it is a buying pressure area. Okay, why is supply is the selling what? Is the selling pressure area. Is that understood? So the truth of the example that I was trying to state is the fact that the person that 10 people patronized might not make as much sales as you. Okay. So there might still be selling in that scenario if there was more items bought from you. Let's say you both have the same number of items. Maybe you both have the same number, 100 gadgets and all. And 3 people patronize you, but let's say 20 out of the gadget. Meanwhile, 10 people patronizing the person, each of them bought maybe one laptop. Okay, each of them bought one laptop. That is just 10 sales that was made. Okay, so in that scenario, the person that is that your rival in quote, okay, still has more selling pressure than you. Okay, because he still has 90 laptops to sell, and you have 80 laptops remaining to sell, even though it's only 3 people that patronize you, right? So that is to tell you that the what is it called? The number of buyers or sellers is not majorly what is it called? Is not the major factor that determines the pressure. Okay, so the pressure from demand or supply, the one that will let you understand which demand or supply, where will we have reactions, okay, which demand or supply will hold is based on the negotiation, Okay, is based on the skill and profitability of the thing. And we'll see in the example that I will cite in this scenario. Okay, now in the forex market, unlike the popular opinion that many of you believe that, oh, and that is what I was saying in the first day of the training, that I don't see people that you see saying they are trading like the bank. I don't see them as intelligent people. In fact, it turns me off. Even if you have good content and the likes like that, the moment you keep repeating that thing, it's kind of annoys me in a way, because you cannot be saying you are trading like the bank. It makes no sense to me. Why would you say you are trading like the bank? Who are you to say you are trading like the bank? And meanwhile, it is not the bank majorly that are like the major controller. Okay, so we have what we call the service provider. So the service provider in Forex are the ones that make things happen. And these service providers are the ones, even your banks, your hedge fund managers, and other big people actually patronize in order to what? In order to be able to achieve their aim. Do you understand? So the major people are in the major people are the market what? They are the market maker. And there has to be a market maker for a demand and supply to hold in the forex market. And we will understand that in a minute. Now, look, for example, there will not be any movement of price, or there won't be any sale of price if it is based on the normal idea that everybody has, that all you have to do is an equal volume from the sellers, an equal volume of the buyers, and then that, oh, I want to sell this as 500 million, and also I want to buy this as 500 million. Then there won't be no sale. Okay, in the forex markets majorly. Okay, so that cannot even work in other business as well, even as realtors. Okay, for example, if you are a realtor and you want to make sale of the building and all that, majorly you give it to who? Agents. So it is the agent that make it happen. Okay, so the agent will be the one to serve as negotiator, because if in the real sense, there won't be any change in price or any meaningful thing. Okay, there won't be any flip in price. If all we have is just you bringing 500 million due to the table that, oh, you want to sell this, and the person also buying at the 500 million without any margin for profitability in between. Okay, so it makes no sense, and there is actually no sale. Okay, so this is what this first picture, let me annotate. Let me annotate now. Okay, so this is what this set of pictures, this first one and the second one, is trying to let us understand that there is actually absolutely nothing happening here. Okay, but it is until we have a scenario of picture 2. What is this picture saying? In a situation whereby demand outweighs supply. Okay, however, if supply as well outweighs demand, price will not move. Does that make sense to anybody? Is there anybody that can explain this second picture? Why won't price move if supply outweighs your demand? Okay. Yesterday, I was still talking to you guys about how everything is based on how everything is relatively towards demand. So tell me why it is only when demand outweighs supply that price will move. Why is it that price won't move if supply outweighs demand? Is there anybody that can answer that question? Is there anybody that can answer that question? I'm sure we might have economists or business admin people among us. So let's see. Let's see if it is not just about theory alone. I'm not an economist yet. I think I understand better than most first class students, because I am doing what is it called? Because I am doing what is it called? Because this is something I am putting my own life on daily basis, compared to someone that just went to school to study books. So let us see. Okay, someone has a suggestion. The buyer won't be able to take the whole supply. That makes sense, but can you go further into that? Can you simplify it? I understand you already, but I want you to simplify it. Let's say I know nothing about this thing, and let's even assume that I'm not intelligent enough to comprehend your sentence. Okay, let's make tonight's class a little bit interactive. I think I'm well fit to actually go long. So the buyer won't be able to take the whole supply. That's interesting, but can you make it simpler for us? Can you make it simpler for us? What do you mean by buyer won't be able to take the whole supply? What if the buyer let me ask a funny or a layman question, or someone that does not understand this. Let me ask this question: that what if the buyer, okay, what if the buyer choose to buy all that I have and then go to another place to get the remaining? There is still sales, right? I was able to sell to make sales. I was able to sell everything that I have. So except you now make it simple for us, that's when we will understand you better. Okay, that is, there will be too much in circulation. Too much in circulation for people to buy. So there will be excess of the product with very little people to buy. No, you are contradicting your statement here. I don't get that. Okay, can I repeat the question? Okay, the question is, you see picture 1 here that I circled. If demand outweighs supply, okay, price will move. But if supply outweighs demand, price will not move. So I said explain picture 2. Why is it that if supply outweighs demand, price will not move? So that is the question. Why is it that if supply outweighs demand, price will not move? But if demand outweighs supply, price will move. Why? This is the basic law of demand and supply. Trust me, this is the basic law. This is the very basic law of demand and supply. That if an entrepreneur or a businessman does not understand, it is the same reason why CBN burns excess money because of too much money in circulation. It is the same reason why this and all that happens. So tell me, why is it just a basic thing? Okay, sellers will be forced at a much lower price because of the lower demands. Hence, they have to withhold products till they have demand and supply equilibrium. Interesting, makes sense. But I cited an example earlier. No. Okay. So interesting. Yes, I like that actually. Okay, that is an angle to it. Let me take your answer here. Because the seller are lesser to buyer. Yes, we no, are the seller lesser to buyer? No, we said that supply outweighs our demand. Besides, I don't want you to use the term sellers more than buyers. No, this is not what is happening. That's why I was a little bit not what is it called? That's why I was a little bit somehow about the previous answer. Supply and demand, I just redefined it for you guys that it is not about the number of buyers or sellers. What this says is my supply outweighs your demand. That is what I want to sell. What I want to sell now is the laptop. In the example I stated, the number of laptops in the example I stated, it is not me. It is not dependent on number of buyers or sellers. Don't get yourself wrong. You don't make sales because of numbers of buyers or sellers. You make sales based on what you want to sell. That product. Product is what you use, is what you sell. I hope I'm making sense. Okay, a buyer can have enough purchasing power to buy up all supplies. So it is not number of, hey, you guys are contradicting. Is it that you guys don't get my question? Did you guys see the picture? Maybe you guys did not see the picture. I said explain this picture whereby price will not move, whereby supply outweighs demand. But some of you are even giving answers to demand outweighs supply. If demand outweighs supply, definitely price will move because I have bought everything. Okay, your demand outweighs my supply, so there will be sale. I'll be able to sell everything to you. That's why I said you guys are not getting my question. Most of you have answered, you answered one. Meanwhile, in scenario one, price moves. In scenario two is what we are saying. Supply outweighs demand. For me, I think price will still move. Lower because there is excess supply compared to the demand. You think price will move? Okay. But here we are saying that price will not move. Okay, don't let me waste our time. Okay. Well, don't let me waste our time. Let us just delve into it. Let me explain it so that you guys can understand what we mean when we say that price will not move the moment that supply outweighs demand. Now, this is how it works in the Forex space. So I was trying to let you guys understand that, what is it called? That in this particular scenario, we have a middle person. This middle person, the aim of the middle person, which is the service provider, is what? Is to actually make profit. That is the aim of the person, okay? Is to actually make profit. Is that understood? Now, in the Forex space, this person is the person that sits at your consolidation area. This is the person sitting at your consolidation area, whereby we were talking about controlling demand and supply. Okay, this person is the one sitting around this your base area, this particular service provider. Now, what is he doing? He's trying to negotiate. Okay, what is he negotiating? He's negotiating. He has a certain volume of liquidity at hand. Okay, the liquidity is fixed, which is the product in sales in this scenario. Okay, now this particular guy want to sell to the highest to the highest bidder. Is that understood? Now, however, it is not just about the highest bidder. Now, it could be the faster bidder, but he has a fixed price he is working with, in which price will not move. And that is why, if the supply is trying to make, if it outweighs your own demand, price will never move. Why? Because this guy, nothing will happen around this area. This consolidation will continue for as long as possible. If there is if there is nobody making a bid for as high as what? For as high as 1 cent. Okay, for as high as 1 cent, or let me say for as low rather, for as low as 10 cents or as low as 100 cents above his own what? His own price. Okay, so let's say, for example, the liquidity around this area is $100 million. So let's say it is $100 million. Okay, that is the liquidity around this area. Now, and you are approaching this particular guy. This particular guy is the guy in blue. That is the one we call the service provider or the market what? Or the market maker. Okay, if your demand is $99 million, okay, in Forex, there will be no sale. This guy does not negotiate in this scenario. He is not interested in whatever it is. What can move price around this thing? So this price right here is more like a threshold. Okay, so it is more like a what? A threshold for what? For price to what? To move. Okay, that is the fixed price around this range. Okay, so the highest bidder or the person bidding above this guy. In fact, if you bring liquidity the same as exactly this, there will be nothing. That is the first scenario happening here, whereby we have $500 million and also $500 million for sale. And therefore, you and I, we are having the same thing to make. You have $500 million, $500 million. There is no change in demand or supply. It is balanced. It is at equilibrium at that point. Therefore, price tends not to move, even with that condition. Which means that the only condition for price to move in this particular scenario is a what? Is a bid greater than what? Greater than $100 million. Okay. So anything such that A greater than $100 million is the only condition whereby what? Whereby price moves. Okay, so this is the supply available. Okay, so if your demand now outweighs this supply, then that is when price will move. If your supply outweighs if the supply, which is $100 million, outweighs the demand, then price will not move. I hope that is clear now. I hope that is clear. So we need a what? A volume, that is a liquidity. Okay, from clients that will what? That will outweigh this threshold price. I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense for price to actually move. Does that make sense? Hello, please, you guys should respond fast. Okay, that makes sense, right? Okay, great. All right, interesting. Then we can proceed. Okay, now let's look at the next phase. Now, in price, in Forex, or every other thing that is that involves pair, even be it BTC, USD, in as much it is a pair. Okay, we have what we call what the triangular equilibrium. Okay, the triangular equilibrium here is trying to let you understand how price actually works. Okay, that is what brings about some people using the strategy of that this pair and this pair they move alike, this and this. But however, because of the triangular equilibrium, it doesn't always happen that way. That is just the truth. As much as you may think they move alike, there will be some major scenario whereby you might actually fail if you think that. Okay, whereby so automatically if you are saying Euro USD and GBP USD move alike, does not mean that you should go and place buy on Euro USD because you saw analysis on GBP USD that it will buy. It makes no sense. Okay, so that's it. So what is the triangular equilibrium? The triangular equilibrium is telling us about how these things operate, how pairs that have common codes or common base. Okay, I believe everyone here already understand what a code currency is and what a base currency is. A base currency is the stronger currency, while a code currency is the weaker currency. Okay, so for example, in GBP USD, GBP is the base, but in Euro GBP, GBP is still the base. Why is it that? Because look at it, we have an inversion of price here, 0 point. That is to tell you that it requires less than €1 of price to get GBP, which means GBP relatively is stronger than Euro. Okay, so that is it. Then in Euro USD, of course, Euro is the base as at this time that this price are written. Okay, now, what is the triangular equilibrium? Triangular equilibrium says that to get this, we have a division. To get this note, relationship that happened between GBP USD and Euro USD is also a what? A division. Euro GBP and Euro USD is also a what? A division. Okay. Why Euro GBP and GBP USD is what? Is what is it called? Is a multiplication. So it is just trying to show you guys the relationship between prices that have relatively common codes or common basis. Now, 96% of price moves are ghost move without any real buying or selling. That is just the truth. In the Forex market, there is no physical buyer or physical seller. Everything is just the algorithm. Okay? Everything is just the algorithm. And that is part of what we were trying to talk about during our methodology. Okay? So it is more like we inputting the whole case into the what? Into an algorithm, the economics. So that is why I said when they now tell you that, bank is manipulating you, institution is manipulating you, that is not in any way correct. Please delete all that notion. Everything you see in price is just algorithm playing with you. Are you saying that as fast as market is and everything, it is on people doing every price move at every second? So it is on people, which kind of programming is that? Your programmer is so fast that he's programming from morning till night.
for 1 week, 24 hours daily, and to actually see you that, oh, people want to buy, and quickly he programs and that market should go against you. It makes no sense. If it is that way, then relatively, trust me, we shouldn't even be trading. It means that we are majorly just gambling. In fact, it is worse than gambling, because that means there is a certain person out there that once I place my buy, then it goes against me. That means that there is no strategy I can use to tackle the person. It makes no sense. So the only reason why people use that to actually teach it is to make it simple. But some people, the annoying part is that some people actually believed it, but it is not true. Okay. But if you don't believe it and you just use it to like just teach the conventional way of how the algorithm of price actually delivers price. So that is it. Okay. So 96% of price moves are actually ghost moves. That is just the truth. This thing is algo. It is algorithm that is working. Nothing else is working. Nobody is known there. Is it one billionaire in dollars? Even a certain millionaire in dollars cannot just sit there and be monitoring you. Okay. So that is it. So they have, even their effect is very minimal, and the effect is usually during news. Okay. For example, CPI today was quite funny. Price first go higher, then dip down towards major demand, then before it's now respected that demand. In that scenario, it makes no sense. That's not a good news to trade. Okay. So that is the thing. So it is very important that you understand how these things work. Okay. So there is a service provider, and this service provider, you all go to him. Okay. Who we also call the market maker. You all go to him to actually say that, oh, you want to what? You want to do this. Now, for example, and this is what happened between Euro or USD. For example, I want to buy $5 million and I want to sell $5 million. I will deal with both of you. Now, this is what this guy will do. What this guy will do is that he might be paying one of them, or one of them might be buying from him in euro. Because euro and dollar does not actually have exactly the same price, but they are close. So no matter what, he is making his profit in a larger scale. So what does he do? He goes to someone that wants to sell it. So let's say someone wants to buy 1 million euro. Is that understood? So he goes to the person, okay, and be like, okay, I want to sell 1 million euro. Then he goes to the person, he will say, oh, I will pay $1 million USD for them. Please reduce that thing. I will pay $1 million USD for them. So he's trying to bid with this person. Okay. Now, after bidding with this person, if this person agrees, okay, then he purchases this. Now, if this person, okay, now for the common currency, he's also selling to this person at 1 million USD. Now, he's now offering this person. This person wants to now buy what? 1 million euro. So what does he do? It was like, oh, it will cost you 1,001,000 US dollars to actually buy. So with that, he has made what? $1,000 profit between them. So this is the basic understanding of demand and supply, and how the algorithm actually delivers price to everyone. So his own customers are the people you even believe are the major movers, the hedge funds, we the retail traders. We are all retail traders. Note that we don't have the skill to be the money to be institutional or whatever. Do you have $1 billion? Do you even have $1 million? So insurance firms, mutual funds, pension funds, commercial business, tourists. So these are people that need all these things. You know, tourists, they travel from one country to the other. Some of them need cash and all that, and the likes like that. So they will tend to go to bank to change their money, or go directly to the service provider and the likes. So that is just basically it. So that is how the market maker makes his money. Is that understood? Yeah, so that is how the market maker makes his money. And in fact, that is also as well how the brokers also make their money, through the difference between the bid price and the offer price, which is also known as the ask price. Okay, so that is majorly the basic understanding of demand and supply. So I've been able to explain the basic understanding of demand and supply to you guys. When will price move? Price will only move under this condition and not beyond, not below. Okay, so we have less than 1 minute to rejoin. While we now go to the liquidity term and we go to today's business. Okay, so yeah, so that will be it. So we